Are you calling me dangerous?
Well, we'll see.
Let it all out.
Hell yeah!
This is reckless. The killer wouldn't hesitate to kill again if it covers their tracks.
We can go ahead and move on to the next part of my stream, and that is my review for Rian Johnson's Knives Out sequel, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Not a great title, in my opinion, but one, because I'm like, what the hell is a glass onion? They do explain that in the movie. They're very upfront about that, which I do appreciate, but not the best title, because it's kind of weird. I will say at the top, I'll just kind of briefly go over my opinion on the original Knives Out, which, wow, when did that movie come out? Was that like 2017, 2018? It was a few years ago. And I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. Certainly the performances and Ana de Armas and I thought Chris Evans were some of the standouts in that particular movie. But the one thing that I always thought was kind of weird was the fact that Daniel Craig he plays the detective Benoit Blanc in that film, and it's weird because even though in the trailers they make him out like, oh, he's the main character of the film, he's the detective, he's Rian Johnson's Hercule Poirot or Sherlock Holmes. He's not the main character. He's more of a secondary character in that film. And it's more focus on Ana de Armas in that movie. And she does a great job. I mean, she's probably the standout along with Chris Evans in that film. But it's always been kind of weird to me that you have this, because when you think about like the great, mysteries and the mystery novels of the 19th and the 20th and the 21st century, the detective is often like the main character. And it's just kind of weird that this new series it's not defined by Benoit Blanc. It's more about either the mystery itself or whatever Rian Johnson is satirizing. And so I think that's maybe what's led to the weird naming structure for these movies, because I mean, a Knives Out is I mean, that's kind of one of the things about the original film. It's referring to, the novel that Christopher Plummer's character wrote. And you have like the whole setting, like you have that room which is filled with all the weapons and the knives, and it's also about like the characters in that family, that they all have their knives out. It's just kind of weird that's now the naming structure. You would think it'd be a Benoit Blanc mystery, but because Benoit Blanc is just not really the focus of any of these movies, they can't really name it after. People are like, oh yeah, Daniel Craig's character. Again, he's just secondary. That's just always, it's been odd to me personally. In any case, for those who don't know, it is a sequel to the 2019 film. Daniel Craig again reprises his role as the master detective Benoit Blanc. And, he takes on this case, which involves this tech billionaire who invites all of his friends and acquaintances to participate in this faux murder mystery. An actual murder ensues, and Daniel Craig and various other characters have to figure out who the true murderer is and what is actually, going on. Kind of just going into my overall thoughts, I have no doubt that Rian Johnson has an obvious love for classic murder mysteries. He very much wears his influences on his sleeves. Certainly the influences of like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Agatha Christie. And, he has created another mystery that feels like a beloved homage, to those works, just set in our own modern times. Complete with a setting in the middle of the 2020 pandemic. Outside of, who Daniel Craig, who returns as Detective Benoit Blanc, a character that it's obvious that Craig loves playing as much as Rian Johnson loves writing for. Everyone else in the movie is playing characters obviously inspired by real life figures who are kind of like ever present fixtures of our modern and our modern political and pop culture. Like Dave Bautista, his character who is like Duke, he's very much a Joe Rogan, Alex Jones Twitch streamer. Kate Hudson is this, ditzy Instagram influencer. And like Edward Norton's character, he's Elon Musk. He's this eccentric and narcissistic industrialist, who is not as smart as he obviously thinks he is. And everyone in the cast looks like they're having just fun playing these roles. And they're playing them very, very well. It's just that nearly half of the film's running time is just pretty much spent with these characters. And honestly, over time, because I know what they're all representing, these just kind of these obnoxious people who are constantly being reported on and having their opinions plastered all over social media like all the time. I almost kind of just grew annoyed just watching them until we finally get to the actual mystery of the movie, which it takes a long time to get to the actual mystery of the movie. We're over an hour into the movie by the time it was like, oh, now the mystery. It's like 75 minutes. And it's a little frustrating for me. And this movie is long. This is like a 2.5 hour movie, and I don't think it needs to be 2.5 hours. But it's at that point that we get to actress Janelle Monáe. I think that's how you say her name, Janelle Monáe. And I think she's the standout of the cast. Again, this gets to an issue I've had with the last one and also in this one, and she really gets a chance to shine. And the movie from that point on is pretty much her adventure. It's really her movie. And Benoit Blanc, along with the rest of the cast, pretty much all take a backseat to what's going on. It's kind of frustrating that Blanc is relegated to being a secondary character, much like how he was in the original Knives Out. Also, Rian Johnson, it's very obvious to me, he's really, really passionate about his politics in this film, as he was in the last one, even more so here. And he's spending much more time satirizing those socio-political aspects than actually crafting the mystery itself. It becomes very obvious what's actually going on and who the villain is. And at the same time, it's stated, but it's stated as matter-of-factly that the real solution to pretty much everything in the movie, like what's going on, is crystal clear. Like it is a glass onion. Seemingly has layers upon layers and layers, but because it's a glass onion, you can just see what's actually going on. Like it's obvious. It's like, oh, there it is. And it's almost inconsequential. And it's more about the people and events that are being satirized and mocked. That is what the focus is. It's almost going like, yeah, this is a mystery movie, yeah. But really, it's like, look at these fucking assholes. I mean, that's what it is. And if that's the case to me, which I think it's obvious, I mean, that's the glass onion. That's what this is really all about. Then the movie does not need to be nearly 2.5 hours long. Probably Rian Johnson and I, politics are very similar to each other. But when that is just kind of the point of your movie, then it's like, well, then what was the point of this mystery if it was just to be a critique on all these different types of people that we're fucking inundated with all the time? It almost kind of became exhausting. Like, no one's doing a bad job. Like, the actors are all doing a great job in their roles. And it's a huge cast. I mean, obviously, Daniel Craig and Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe. But you also have Catherine Hahn, who plays this politician. She's like governor of, I want to say, Connecticut. And she's a politician that doesn't believe in anything that she says. She just wants the influence and the power and the money. Like, that's all she's all about. You have Jessica Henwick, who plays Kate Hudson's assistant, and she's like the type of character where she's like, I'm just here to clean up all your goddamn messes, and she seems to be the most like normal out of everybody, but you realize like you're just an enabler. That's really what you do, and you just cover up for all these horrible lies and things, and you never actually address the character's behavior. And it's like, oh, it's similar to, for example, like Kanye West, who is a huge piece of shit of a human being. And he has all these enablers and yes men. They're just either trying to cover for him when he gets himself in trouble, which is often, but never really address the problem. And it's like, okay, I see what he's doing here. I totally understand. It's like, yeah, these people should be satirized and mocked, but that's really what the movie's about at the end of the day. It's like not really about the murder mystery. It's not really about, the villain, even though it's like as soon as the 75-minute mark happens, like when they do a switcheroo, and you're like, oh shit, and you realize what's going on, then it's pretty goddamn clear like who the villain is. Especially you just know going in what Rian Johnson's political opinions are. Then you'd be like, all right, we know who the villain is automatically. Like that's not really difficult to figure out. And in that, it's like, okay, it's an entertaining watch. Like, it's fun, I think, for the most part, like in these individual moments and scenes. And it's great to see, like, these actors really stretch themselves. Like, Dave Bautista's, I mean, he's turned into such a great actor. And this is a role that he's clearly having a lot of fun with, balancing, the drama with the comedy. And he has great chemistry with everybody, especially with Edward. Him and Edward Norton have, like, a great back and forth. Like, man, Dave Bautista's turned into such a great actor. You know, when you think of a lot of his contemporaries, wrestlers who've become actors, like The Rock. I mean, it really shows, like, wow, The Rock is so fucking one note. Like, but Batista's, like, really stretching himself, and it was really cool to see him do that. And just with everybody across the board, and he's doing such a great job. He's fucking, him and Daniel Craig's like, yeah, they're great together. I love that. And, I'm not too familiar with, like, Janelle Monáe as an actor, and there's a lot I don't even want to say about her role because there's a lot of twists and turns with her, but she does a great job, and the movie's focused on her because she gets the most to do. But in the same time, it's frustrating for me because, Daniel Craig, the last 20 minutes of this movie, Daniel Craig's not really in it. like he's maybe in the back. He actually leaves. There's this big climactic finish in the movie, and Daniel Craig just kind of walks out the building. And he's just like, all right, well, I'll let you guys handle this. And then at that point, it's focused on everybody else. I'm just like, what's the kind of the... I almost don't even need this Benoit Blanc character. Because clearly Rian Johnson, he's much more interested in these other characters and everything that he wants to satirize and mock. And again, I'm not against the satirization of these things because they probably should be satirized and mocked because, yeah, these real life people are fucking ridiculous and obnoxious and annoying. It's just that we spend so much, but at the same time, it's weird. We spend so much time with them. It reminds me of like, God, I fucking hate these people. And so, yeah, another technical aspects of it, it's very competently directed. The setting is great. The production design is very good. It's just when it comes down to it, I think it's length. It's length and the fact that it's really not about a mystery at all. It's like, yeah, okay, it's about a mystery, but that's not really the focus. That kind of left me feeling really frustrated. And so we're pretty much all just left with a film that is much more interested in being a sociopolitical critique on our modern times than being a murder mystery story. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, it's entertaining enough, but nothing where, people are saying this is, and to each their own at the end of the day. I get it. Yeah, people are saying that this is, one of the best movies of the year and deserves all these accolades and things. And I personally don't see that. It's an entertaining film, and I think it's probably at home on Netflix. It didn't feel as confident in itself, like the original movie did. And yeah, if I saw this in the theater, I think I'd be probably even more let down. As it is, it's a solid, entertaining political critique. But outside that, I don't think this is a particularly good murder mystery movie. But again, that might be intentional on Rian Johnson's part. But at that point, then why even make it a murder mystery at all? So it's entertaining enough. Like if I were to give it a rating on the double toasted scale, I'd probably give it like a low matinee. It's a low matinee for me, Chad. I don't think it reached the same heights as the first one. Which even that one, I don't think I even gave the first one a full price. I think I may have given that a high matinee. So it's fine. There's gonna be another one. I think Rian Johnson might already be filming it. Netflix bought, this is crazy to me. I can't believe this. Netflix bought 2 sequels to Knives Out for nearly $500 million. I think it's like $430 million or something. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I know it had a very short theatrical release, I think they did that just so it can get award attention and, for Oscars and things. Which I guess is going to get nominated. I don't know if it got like Golden Globe nominations. But yeah, I think it made $15 million on like a $40 million budget. I mean, they used their budget well. I mean, they shoot on location. They are in Greece, and it looks great. I mean, it has a wonderful look. But yeah, it comes down to it's the main story. It's the main story that I take issue with, because it's not a really great murder mystery. It's because that's not what it wants to focus on at all. He wants to satirize these obviously real life people. And if you're there for that, then I think you might get a bigger kick on it than I did. But for myself, I was kind of left disappointing and wanting. So yeah, for myself, Chad, I would give this a low matinee. But that's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it. I know a lot of people are absolutely adoring and loving this movie. Let me know how you feel about Rian Johnson's Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.